back to Quilting Beauty and Books, my corner of YouTube. I pray that you and your family are all doing well today and that you enjoyed today's video. Guys, and hoping that this video will be short and sweet, I am first and foremost, I want to tell you guys thank you for sticking in there with me for the month of February. As you know and saw that I did not do a lot of posting because I was ill pretty much the whole entire month. I am about 90% feeling better right now. I do still have that pesky headache, but it's not as bad as it was back in the month of February. This month, or actually this week, I do get my treatment, so I cannot wait and hoping that this month will be smooth sailing. In today's video, I want to share with you the books that I read for the month of February. It was only 3 of them. So I want to just quickly show you the books. What I'm going to do is just show you the books and leave the link to my blog in the description box below. And that way I don't have to use a lot of mental effort to tell you, the details of the books, because honestly, I can't remember the first one. I know what it was. I could tell you what it was about a little bit, but not give you a full review of the book. So I will have to refer you to my blog, especially for the first book. And then I have several books that I want to share with you that I plan on reading for the month of March. So we'll go ahead and get started. Now, that very first book I'm going to tell you about is Living Lies. My sis, Nay, over at Daughter of Increase, she and I read this book as a buddy read. This book was really, really, really good. I enjoyed it. I can't remember if I gave it a 4.75 or a 5-point rating. It did touch on PTSD, depression, anxiety, and all that, those mental health disorders. And I am so glad that Natalie brought more awareness and attention to those disorders. And I am glad that how she wrote it into the story. It wasn't just like, oh, she has it and then don't touch on it at all. She went into detail about it. And I was really, really happy with the outcome of how she did that. Now, I can't fully remember everything about it, but this is the book that unfortunately I will be referring you to my blog on for all the details what I wrote about this book. I can tell you that it was good, and I know it touched on those disorders, and it's like a murder mystery, that kind of thing. So if you are into that, please, please, please do yourself a favor and read this book. It is really, really good. And it's funny how I can tell you a book is really, really good, but I really can't give you the guts of it. And a lot of that right now is because, I'm not sure if I mentioned that, like I said, I was about 90% well. Well, I'm still with the headache, so I really don't want to try to force my brain to do a lot of remembering at this moment. It's unfortunate, but that's one of the side effects. So I don't want to have to force myself to remember. So please go ahead and take a look at the blog. The next 2 books are by Tessa Afshar, and I just wanted to get this duology over with. Now I only have one more book of hers that I have to read before purchasing her new book. The books that I am talking about today are called Harvest of Rubies, and this is part 1 of the duology, and part 2 is Harvest of Gold. These books are phenomenal. I love them. Gave them both a 5-star. Nay did speak about these books being Tessa's, well, it's not just 1, but 2 of her most funniest books. Oh, it was hilarious. I love Sarah in these books, how she was strong. She was like, I know what I want to be. She wasn't going to conform. She knew she wanted to be single. She wanted to be a scribe. She didn't want no, she wasn't trying to do all that, female follower. She wasn't trying to dress up, be cute, and all that kind of mess. So she ended up becoming the queen's senior scribe. Oh my gosh, her journey was amazing. I am in need of a book 3. I'm telling you, I need a book 3. But yeah, she ended up becoming the queen's senior scribe, and the queen was like, huh, but the queen really did like her. And when she unfolded the plot that someone was out to get turn the queen against her mom and all this or her mother-in-law, and all just like, it was like a round going on between them two, women, especially high up. And Sarah found out about it. She got to the bottom of it, and she was like, no, that was somebody, trying to, cause some trouble between you and your mom-in-law. Or was it her mom? Her and her mom. And, instead of just giving a girl a bracelet or a necklace or a dress or whatever, she decided to get this girl a husband. So she wasn't too thrilled with that. And it was just so funny. So she ended up coming to the wedding in a hot mess. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it. And her journeys and how she had to get her husband to understand that she was not one of those girls who said, ooh, he rich, I'm going to get with him. She wasn't one of those kind, because she didn't want nothing to do with him. And her and his adventures, his name was Darius. It was cute. I really enjoyed their love story. It was really cute. Now, sometimes I wanted to strangle Darius because he was just too for his own good. But you didn't understand that until book 2 of why he was the way that he was. And when, at that point, that's when my heart softened for him. But he had a friend named Lysander, and it was another character in the book. Her name was Roxanne. I want a book on their relationship. They were hilarious. So I look forward to hopefully seeing it at the book test. So just, hint. But no, it was really, really good. Nehemiah was in here. My head is hurting. I'm trying to make sure I'm saying it right. Yeah. Nehemiah was in here, and let's see who else. Yeah. The king was really cool. I liked him. He was like rough, but I liked him. I really liked him and his wife, even though she was messy. The one who gave Sarah a husband instead of a trinket. She was messy, but she was cool too. So I really, really enjoyed these books. I will soon be putting a post out on the blog giving a more detailed review of both of these books. So I just wanted to share those with you. Now on to the books that I plan on reading for the month of March. What I did this month is on my top shelf, which you won't see. My top shelf, I'm looking at it while I'm scratching. I have books on, of course, books on all these shelves. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take books off of my top shelf and pull 5 and read. No, pull 4 and read. And then my 5th book, the one I'm about to talk to you about first, is the book that Nay and I are doing a buddy read on. And it is by none other than my girl Francine Rivers. Now, I talked to you guys. Let me pull this since I'm right here. I talked to you guys about this book, A Lineage of Grace. And it is 5 stories about Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, Bathsheba, and Mary. and how I enjoyed this book. Now, the story on Bathsheba and Rahab, woo, them was some good. Them stories had me like, Lord have mercy. I love those stories. So I knew for a fact I couldn't wait to get into reading. I'm sorry, I'm putting it back while I can. So I knew for a fact I was going to enjoy reading Sons of Encouragement. If I didn't get the thought all the way out, Nay and I, a daughter of increase, will be doing a buddy read on this book. And Hunty, this is a tome. If you guys are following her on her reading challenge, this is considered a tome. Because this is 84 pages. 684 pages. Yes. Let you see the cover. This book has Aaron, Caleb, Jonathan, Amos, and Silas in it. And they give little blurbs about each. The book of Aaron is talking about the priest who stood in Moses' shadow but had the courage to cover his brother's fears. Caleb, the warrior whose words stirred men's heart and brought God's people to the promised land. Jonathan, the prince whose humility led him to befriend the man who will become king in his place. Amos, the prophet who heard when God called and spoke to a nation unwilling to listen. And then Silas, the scribe who surrendered his wealth to record God's word, even as those around him were silenced. So I am looking forward to reading this book. I figure I will be finished with it by the end of the month because I plan on reading 22 pages a day. And we should go from there and see. And they are doing a buddy read. If you want to jump in on this buddy read with us, please feel free to do so. The next book, the first book that I plan on reading, I figured I have 4 weeks in a month, so I'm giving myself 1 week to complete these books until I am back up to feeling 100%. Okay. The first book I'm reading is called The Fall of Lucifer, and it is by Wendy Alec, and this is book number 1 in the Chronicles of Brothers series. This cover, let me move my finger so you can see how stunning this cover is. Gorgeous. This book is about 3 archangels, 3 brothers, 1 turned renegade. Why did it say turn rogue? 1 turn renegade. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But a sweeping epic of origins and mysteries, The Fall of Lucifer tells a tale older than the universe itself. Set in opulent palaces and frightening hell worlds, this is a timeless saga of doubt, of demons and angelic warriors, of obsessive love and treason, and of an ancient evil that knows no bounds. I started this one today. So far, I think what happened was I was a little bit sleepy when I first started reading it, so I had to start over. And then I was rushed, so because I had to go to class, and then when I got out of class, I started over again, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense now. So, my advice, don't read this book or probably any other book when you're sleepy, because it would not make sense. The next, now I don't know what order these other 3 books will be in, but how I'll read them, I don't know. But I'm just going to show them to you. This one is called Hester on the Run, and it is in book number 1 in the Hester's Hunt for Home series. Yeah, I had to make sure I hit that right. And it is by Linda Byler. And this is an Amish book. So I am definitely knocking this out of the park for a book that is truly, truly out of my comfort zone, or books that I prefer. I think out of my comfort zone is the better thing, because I was going to say books that I don't prefer. But the only reason why I got this one, as I stated before, is because this cover was unique, or this story is unique because it is sharing a story of an Amish woman who happened to be considered a woman of color. And the back cover reads, in the early days of an eastern Pennsylvania Amish settlement, a young Amish couple finds a Lenape, I think I pronounced that right, Lenape, infant wrapped in deerskin and left by a spring. Hans and Kate Zug named the child Hester, cherishing her despite the pointed question of Hans's mother. What makes you think you can raise her Amish with her Indian blood? Hester glows as she grows, an unmistakable beauty both inside and out, and charms her adoptive Amish community. But when an elderly Lenape woman hands her a package of medicinal herbs to root out an infection that is threatening Kate's life, Hester recognizes that she belongs to two rich traditions, both intent on possessing her. When divisions in her own home become too much to bear, Amish Lenape Hester realized that she must leave for both her sake and her father's. She takes only two possessions, a letter-bound book of ancient native remedies and her memories of the Amish way. So, I can't wait to read that one. And I'm hoping I like this book because I think it's like 2 or 3 more parts to this story that I want to get. The next one is called Blessed, and it's called, the title of the book is called Blessed, the Prodigal Daughter, and it's by, I'm getting all tongue-tied, A.L. Bryant. This cover is gorgeous. Her body is covered in wounds. She cannot remember the attack that left her bleeding out in the squalid alleyway. Squalid. I don't know why they got these words on the back of these books. Worse than names. Her recovery is supernatural. Her power is unstable, and otherworldly beasts hunt her. Haunted by visions and struggling to suppress her abilities, she desires only to survive long enough to find the voice that calls softly to her, imploring her to return. Again, that was the book Blessed, the Prodigal Daughter. And the last book is called Kingdom's Dawn, and it is in the Kingdom series, and this is book number 1, and this is by Chuck Black. And it says, he's just a young man, but that doesn't change the truth. He was chosen. 16-year-old Lenape thought he was a common farmer's son, nothing more. He wondered why his father had trained him for years to master the sword, not exactly a tool of the trade for farmers, but one tragic event initiates a world of revelation. Only then does he begin to understand his calling, a calling no other man in the entire kingdom of can fulfill. Arethe? I'm going to call it Aretha. A calling given him by the king himself. Teamed with the young slave girl, Lenape is thrust into the adversary in danger for the dark night and his vicious shadow warriors will stop at nothing to thwart the king's plan to restore the kingdom. Lenape will need more than a sharp blade and a swift hand to fulfill his mission and survive the evil plots of the king's sword enemies. I'm sorry, that didn't sound right. Lenape will need more than a sharp blade and a swift hand to fulfill his mission and survive the evil plots of the king's sworn enemies. Journey to Aretha, where the king and his son implement a bold plan to save their kingdom, where courage, faith, and loyalty stand tall in the face of opposition, where good will not bow to evil, and the future of a kingdom lies in the hands of a young man. So that was book number 1 of the Kingdom series, and it's called Kingdom's Dawn by Chuck Black. Nice, small, good read to end the month of March. And another one I'm reading is, again, Blessed, the Prodigal Daughter by A.L. Bryant. Hester on the Run from the Hester's Hunt for Home series, and this is book number 1, and it is by Linda Byler. And book number 1 of the Chronicles of Brothers series by Wendy Alec, and this book is called The Fall of Lucifer. This cover is stunning. And if I'm not mistaken, it's another cover for this book. And the buddy read that Nate and I will be doing, it will be called Sons of Encouragement by none other than Francine Rivers. Now, technically, this is 5 books in 1. So if I get through this book, I really read 9 books. Just saying. So guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you got a little glimpse of what I read and what I plan on reading for this month. And yeah, I hope to crank out another video or a couple of videos by the end of this week. And I definitely got to get back on into my inductive Bible study with you guys. I look forward to doing that. But I just wanted to come out and share with you briefly the books that I read and plan on reading. So without further ado, guys, until the next video, be blessed. Bye.